Chairman-elect, German President, Mr. Chairman-elect, panel officials, aspirants, even though I understand you guys are 30 in number, but some of you didn't make it because some of you are from out of town. We want to thank all of you that made time to be here today. We really do appreciate that. I know you've been consumed by the festivities and people have been dancing and a lot has happened. But all that's happening here today is about October. It's about who will be the next president, who will be the next representative, who will be the next senator. Many times you tune to the radio, you hear young people saying, I'm calling from the district that has no representative. But in testament time for elections, you permit yourself to be trucked to other districts to make other people representatives in districts that you have no business being in the first place. And then somebody brings other people to your district. So you left at night, you leave your house open, and the road come and steal from you because you are out. Maybe you're 18 years old today, or you're 20. When you're 26, that's when the tenure of that representative will be over. That's when the tenure of that president will be over. And if that person goes for 12 years, it means even though the person started when you were 20, but at 32, your life is still where it was several years ago. If I close your eyes now and take you to Nigeria, if you haven't gone there for 5 years, you will wonder where exactly you are. If I did that to you in Abidjan, you will wonder. But if you travel from Liberia 10 years ago and came to Liberia, you see no real change. Many of us live under very difficult circumstances. When I was growing up those days, our house was a zinc shop. In the night, when it's about to rain, the rain didn't see anywhere to fall but on top of your bed. And when you shave left, then it falls there. You shave right, it falls there. And when the sun is shining, because it was not a sliding glass window, it was a timber window, then you have to open it. So you got two battles to fight. You're fighting a battle with a mosquito, and you're fighting to sleep. If you do close the window, then you have to deal with the heat at night. But you see, we go through all of these situations. But when it's time for elections, we permit ourselves to be used. And then we say the people fool us. After these elections, let it not be said that you said somebody fooled you. These elections are about your future. If you vote for somebody based on sympathy, then you are responsible for Liberia's shortcoming. If you vote for somebody based on the fact that you think you know the person, and the person don't have the competence to move our country forward, then you are part of the problems of our country. By 2014, we needed to create 50,000 jobs every year. But from 2014 to today, the numbers have changed, the population has grown. So according to the statistics, we need to provide, the government of Liberia needs to create at least 65,000 jobs every year. This government has proven that they cannot give it to you. The question is, how will those jobs be created? How will the many women that have kids and the father have not looked back, or the many young men that have 4 or 5 girls pregnant, and when that child is born, the child will probably not even know the father. How are you going to feed that child? Those are the issues that this election is about. This election is about your education. You don't want to go through all of the headache of tying your belt as a parent, depriving yourself of dressing to send your child to university, and you dance after university, and the child is still a liability after graduation. Only because the quality of that education is too substandard to be competitive. That's what these elections are about. These elections are about the many times you go to health institutions. No tablet. Even your house is cleaner than the hospital. That's what these elections are about. These elections are not about t-shirt. It's not about how much money is spent. It's not about who came to build toilet house in your community. If you have endured poverty for the last 6 years, then don't be deceived in the next 3 months. Many of my colleagues in opposition, their only game plan for redemption of Liberia is to criticize the current administration. It's easy to criticize. To open your mouth and talk nonsense is easy. But to take your pen and to do what the other person did better is the problem. So these elections are about, if you are in the opposition and you want to be president, how are you going to expand our revenue base? How are you going to create solutions for education? How are you going to solve this issue of the multiple women that today, when they take loan, they can't even sleep to their houses because you take the loan, it's at 40% and you have to run. Nowhere, even in the white people country, today they just increased the rate, the interest rate to 5%. And big businesses that make billions of dollars are collapsing. How much more about you who go and take 50,000 and they say you should start paying the interest rate next month, and the little chicken when you boil, you haven't even started selling it yet, and everything's left in. You need a president that understands that situation. These elections are about public housing. There is no way you can make $150 a month, or $200 a month, or even $300 or $500 a month, and build a house even in 30 years. It's not possible. That's why in many countries they have a public housing program, but publicly financed, but privately run. So that means the $40 rent you pay every month means in 30 years' time, you will own that house. So at least in 30 years, you can say, I let this house to my children. But in Liberia, we keep transferring poverty. You sleep in a room, your manpower in that room. They keep moving from room to room renting. You grow up, you yourself, you start the same process. You don't have anything to start with. That's what these elections are about. Make no mistake. Other countries in the sub-region are making progress. Other countries in the sub-region are not at the same level as we are. Even Sierra Leone spends 18% of the national budget on education. Liberia spends less than 3%. That's what these elections are about. Many times I've heard you say, we should come together. That's the only way you, the people, will be able to vote. I put it back to you. Every country, every nation, you cannot talk about India without talking about Gandhi. It took one man to starve himself. It took one man to discipline himself. And the whole nation followed him. And they liberated themselves from the mighty British Empire. The same in Nelson Mandela did for South Africa. You cannot talk about Ghana without talking about Jerry Rawlings. You cannot talk about Cote d'Ivoire without Houphouët-Boigny, or Senegal without Senghor. What Liberia needs is one man with a clear vision for the future. One man with a clear vision. The other day I drove through Clarendon. We also went through PhD. And the government project in PhD is post-park. The government project in Clarendon is the post-park. And I'm sitting down wondering, Clarendon is an environmental disaster. You live in Clarendon. The last rainy season, few all went through the water. The people could hardly even drink water. If I am president of Liberia, what I will do with Clarendon is to provide public resources to lay out Clarendon and to rebuild those houses and turn it into a mortgage so that the quality of living in Clarendon is better off than the current. Dole Community, Clarendon, West Point, New Town. Look at that. All of those places resulted from one thing: urban migration. People leaving from the interior and coming to the city because there is nothing happening in the interior. You go to Barclay in Lima today, even if you turn your eyes and go there, it's the same. You go to Barclay at the back of Barclay, it's the same. Nothing has happened. I remember we went to Barclay, and one old man told me the cassava there was big like my arm. And I said, Papa, why aren't you taking this to Ganta? He said, my son, how many cars you saw on the road coming? He said, before the cassava reached to Ganta, it's already rotten. Air Force Mistake. Our people have capacity, but the structure that they need to prosper is not there. So what happened? They come to Monrovia. And the reason why we have more people in Monrovia is because of technology. Everybody here got smartphone. You put your little bundle on the thing, this time with $100, so you can get $100 bundle, you get internet. You go, you stay into one hotel, you call your relative in Salahi. The man see you in front of the hotel, the supermarket dress up. No leg in Salahi. Nothing happening there. You're looking good. What do you think you will do? He coming. So as a result, your one room, you can't tell your brother to go back to your inside. Am I speaking your mind? These elections are about a president that understands the only way you can de-urbanize Monrovia is to take the industries to our people in rural. Because people will have no business. Two, three people sleeping on one small bed. Some people even sleep on the floor. Some of the room there, the mattress there just stand out in the morning. In the night you spread it, you sleep. People have no business doing that when in fact they can go back to Vanjima and live a prosperous life. Liberia doesn't have to be this way. But the only system we have to change this process is elections. Power to the people. It says the people vote and determine a leader. So when you vote and we have the wrong leader, that leader is a reflection of your choice. Lastly, I've seen people say, well, I'm not a politician. Whether you're a journalist, whether you're a market woman, whether you're a businessman, a businesswoman, or medical doctor, whoever you are, one thing is certain. Like Warren Buffett said, no man can be richer than his country. Liberia will never produce $1 billion because our budget is just under $4 billion. But America can produce billionaires because its budget is $1 trillion. In fact, it's $22 trillion. China has produced multiple billionaires because they have 18 trillion. So that means if you say, well, I'm a professional and I got my own clinic, the number of people that will start treating themselves at home when they have malaria will increase, even though they're supposed to come to the hospital. They don't have the money. If you're selling in the market, how much profit you can make will depend on how much money the consumers have. These elections are about Liberia's challenges. It's not about who you like. It's not about who you favor. If you love yourself, one thing I can say to you, let these elections be about you and you only. And after here, go out. It makes no difference if you support me. What is important that your support was so strong that you told somebody about me. Now you see the church, the man starts the church, only 10 members. Then he said, each person go and bring 2. You bring 2, you go to 30. Then he said the 30, he said each person bring 2. Then the 30 turn to 90. Are we on course? So the truth is, the problems of Liberia will not solve if we don't vote right and change the leadership. Last step before I say that. You may not understand the whole thing called budget and economics. You know, one person when I come to economics is a social science. So I like to break it down. In a poor country like Liberia, one senator makes $15,000. One senator in America, in a multi-trillion-dollar economy, he doesn't see $15,000 a month. Are you with me? One representative makes more than a representative in America. So as a result, what happened? Last year, we spent $125 million on something called recurring costs. Recurring cost is that every morning you gotta eat food. So that every morning that breakfast, put in the budget, they call it recurring cost. Then they got another one called non-financial cost. The non-financial item. So that particular cost, what they do? That one, the generator and all those things they can buy, they put that inside. That one at $158 million. If you put the two of them together, that $282 million we spent last year just on government bureaucracy. Money. take poor people and you put them out. When they get there, then they start building big houses. And you say the people use look at the houses that they're building. Then when you go to their door, you gotta take away your pride for them to give you some kind of small money. By the grace of God, want to build a country in which, if you are a journalist, you don't have to be afraid to report the truth, because the money that comes into your newspaper or to your radio station will not be coming from the government, but from private businesses that subscribe with you. That's how we strengthen democratic institutions, by enabling the private sector. If you are a newspaper and you print 2,000 copies, the government buy 1,000 from you every day. And you'll be afraid to talk about government? But that's the issue. We want to be able to change that. Again, I want to say thank you, and we appreciate you. I want to do something else as well. Having been elected by the NPC, we also want to name our running mate today. Our running mate is a Liberian. He's married, and he's a medical doctor. He's schooled both at the A&M Diagnostic College and school at the university in America. You see, when they say running mate, it's not because of the county the person comes from. Even though this person comes from Bond County, and specifically Lower Bond. But your running mate must be somebody that if you fall down, the person can carry the process forward. So we will not be the other political parties where you already don't have the energy, then you grab a running mate that don't have the capacity. Without much ado, I will call on Dr. Barclay. So Dr. Barclay and I will be moving forward to make sure we bring change to the people of Liberia. So I will sit down and give Dr. Barclay a minute to say something to you. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. I'm so happy. I prepared something to talk to you today, but I may not do that. I just talk from my heart. I'm happy to be a part of this team. I think together, with the support of the Liberian people, we can make a difference in this country. Our problem is chronic. It needs radical treatment. We need somebody like our standard bearer who has a big one to change this country. So we must all prepare to work together. I remember in 2005 when I was running then as vice presidential candidate, running in the Liberian Rights Party. And in one of my speeches, I said, Liberia needs to be rescued by peace-loving and good-spirited people. You are the people. We have to come together to rescue this country. The people you see all around who are in power today, dashing money here and there, they're not doing you a favor. You put them there, and they have abandoned you. This country must be rescued. I used those words before. And I got to a point too, I said, we must treat the nation. At the time, I created an organization called Hope for Liberia, the highest options for peace and empowerment. First and foremost, I want to say this place is of historical importance as of this moment. We are having our convention here, so we will always remember this place. And I want to thank God for the possibility that this is happening. We can move the country to a different height. And the keynote speaker and the Senate bearer told you basically everything. He told you that the keynote speaker, a person in Cape Town or wherever, whatever problem they have, would be your problem. So we have to have that compassion. We have to empathize. I think at the time in 2005, I came out with a slogan, oneness for all, difference for none. This is the time we must come together to reclaim our country and build it. Okay? We must set up a system, a merit-based system. That is, there will be no who know you basis. There will be that meritocracy. We have to have people who know what they will be doing to be able to sit in certain places. So I came out with the idea, you sit, you fit, you sit. So when you fit, you sit. No who know your business, no tribalism, no corruption. We got to curtail that. I think the nation needs our help. We have to free Liberia from the shackles of corruption, human rights abuse, you name it. All these things are carrying us behind. But if we don't stand together, we will not be able to do anything. So without wasting your time, I had a lot to say, but I will not say them now. My Senator Barrett, I said all the time, and I agree with him. I agree with all these people. So we must move. Liberia must be our first and foremost priority. We have to remember that. So talking will not do it. When the voting time comes, we've got to vote. We've got to work hard. It's possible. Like Ghana used to be behind Liberia. People used to come here to buy sugar. They used to line up. Maybe those days, you were not born. We were using US dollars at the time. Everybody came from far and wide to work here. But now, see how we are. We are behind. They are ahead. I don't envy them. But that's what motivates us. We've got to take our country back. So there is a need. The Honorable Freeman will become our next president. We can work. Don't defeat yourself. We have to be strong and motivated. We will do that. Without saying more, I will say thank you, and I wholeheartedly accept the challenge, the offer to be a part of this team. We'll work together untiringly, but seriously, to make sure things happen. Thank you so much. And may God bless all of us. Something from the cameraman.
Well, I think this is about the time. Hello. This is about the time for us to close this convention. But first of all, let us say a big thank you to Honorable Simeon Freeman and Dr. Barclay. We now call on my sister Jessica to pray for us in our devotion.
In Jesus' mighty name, in Jesus' warrior name, shall we bow. Our Heavenly Father, we say thank you. Thank you for the wonderful occasion today. Thank you, oh God, for all those that have been put into power. Lord, as we have placed our life into your hand, take total control. Even in our party, you are the only God we know. As we live in, we're not leaving your presence, let your presence carry us through. We pray for our incoming president,